Hi, everyone. Mike Gallagher for FullAccessSports.com with our special weekly feature with the football team. We've got a couple of Bearcats standing next to me in the black jersey on my right, or the T-shirt, if you will. Center, former guard Ryan Springer, and then TJ Matsumoto of the defensive backfield. A couple of guys that have earned starting spots this year. Didn't play a lot last year. TJ maybe a little more than Ryan, but I'm going to start with Ryan off to my right. And Ryan, here's the offensive line that sort of started out a little slow. We come into fall camp. We don't know who the center is. Let's be honest. There are 3 or 4 of you. We didn't know who was necessarily playing where. You had lost a couple of good players. But now going into Game 5, from my perspective anyway, I just really see a gelling of the O-line.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we lost some great players off last year's offensive line, and this year's group kind of new coming in. We had had something to prove this year, and just try and do our best every day at practice, trying to get better every day and give our best effort and try and win the play is the motto on the O-line.
And on top of that, they moved you from guard to center, which is not an easy position if you've never played it.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thing. I had never played center before in my life, and about a week before the Hardin-Simmons game, they told me to give it a shot, and here we are now 5 weeks later.
Except for 1 or 2, how's that shotgun snap going? It looks like it's going well for you.
It's good. The coaches have given me a lot of help on it, a few pointers here and there, so it's been good.
And in terms of another starter, this TJ Matsumoto over here. TJ, you played a lot last year. You know what it's like to play a lot of special teams, but you got the starting nod, and I think you still got it unless haven't seen something that's changed. You've really brought a lot of spirit to an area that we were not questioning, but we knew it was going to be Wendell and Giza and somebody else. We weren't sure who it was going to be, but you stepped in, and wow, you've made some great strides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been an experience. It's been a bit of a trek. Playing DB out there, not really knowing who was going to be next to me. For the past couple of years, it's been Tate and myself being the backups to Cody and Dom David, Coach Pastorino. So we've learned a lot from them. And just learning things from them in practice, and then it was our time to shine. We finally got our opportunities and made the best of it.
And when's the INT coming for you?
Hopefully soon.
I hate to say that because Tyson Giza has 3 and a few other knockaways and a pick 6.
Yeah, I'm still working on that part, but my job is to make tackles in the run game, to work on tackling, and then when the opportunity comes my way, I just got to make sure I catch it and capitalize.
And like I was talking with Ryan as well, a lot of new faces in front of you as well. Everyone's got to adjust. The D-line is in spots a fairly new bunch of guys, but it seems like things have gelled.
Yeah, for the most part, our defense is playing well. I mean, we are giving up a decent amount of yards, but when it comes down to it, we're forcing turnovers when it matters. In the red zone, like ETBU was a great example. We recovered 2 fumbles on their 1 yard line, or on our 1 yard line. I mean, that was absolutely huge. So I guess we've kind of turned into a bend don't break. You might cut that out if Najee gets mad at me, but for the most part, we've just come together and we've given up. We've tried not to give the cheap ones up, be disciplined, and make them beat us all the way down the field.
I like the bend, don't break. It's not going anywhere. Ryan, when we talk a little bit about protecting a guy who's just the offensive leader on this team, one of the top passers in the nation, certainly in the conference, in Josh Dean, and of course you've got a bevy of running backs behind you, 3 guys that can really pack the mail. Do you feel the pressure to have to keep those open holes for them, or you just feel I know what I'm going to do and they're going to gain a lot of yardage?
Our backs make us ride a lot of the time. We just got to be focused on getting a hat on a hat, and we got some great running backs, so they make it easy on us. If we can get a hat on a hat, then they're gonna break some runs and make us look good.
And pass protection, I've noticed, especially the last game against Whitworth, they brought the house, as did Sewanee, as did Hardin-Simmons, and you guys have just slowly formed yourself, done well. There's been a few sacks, certainly. That's going to happen, but you guys seem to have molded well and picked up stunts too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a group effort, of course, and if Josh sees something, he'll slide the protection one way or the other. And I think it's a group effort all around. It's up to the O-line, the running backs, the quarterbacks, everybody. It's a group effort to have that good of protection.
Now, you've seen the film, and I do this with respect, but Josh Dean is as animated as Peyton Manning behind the center.
Oh, it definitely helps out. We always can hear it, and it's a big thing to be able to have your quarterback give you the calls and make sure you know what's going on all the time. So I like it.
And as you get into Northwest Conference play, it's just getting harder every week.
Oh, it definitely is. We have to focus on getting better every week, focus on ourselves, and making sure that we're making the strides we need to make to get where we want to be at the end of the season.
Well, before we get to the end of the season, there's one thing I wanted to talk to TJ about, and it's part of his heritage, of course, the Japanese American. And one of the things, I grew up in the Hood River Valley where nearly 20% was Japanese American, but your grandfather was a World War II veteran. Yes. If you look at his jersey number, it says 42. His grandfather was a member of the 442 Infantry Regiment that's so famous from World War II, the Purple Heart Battalion, if you will, in Europe. I do a little history. But his grandfather was on the other side of the world battling the Japanese themselves, and he was an interpreter as well as an infantryman. He went through a lot, but he served his country, and I know you've told me many times how proud you are of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very proud to be a Japanese American citizen, especially my grandpa, who at the time during World War II was very unpopular to be Japanese, and for him to just stand up for his country and fight for America was one of the most courageous things I could ever imagine. So I just do my best to honor him. I mean, I kind of wear the Imperial headband, which is a little bit Imperial Japan, but still it shows my heritage, and the 42, as he mentioned before, for the Japanese regiment. And most of all, I just try to make everyone proud that I represent my family, my friends, and I do my best to just honor them.
And one of the things that people don't forget is once they came home, I asked you, do you speak Japanese? You said no, and a lot of your family doesn't, because in the 50s, as they wanted to become, as they felt more Americanized, it really wasn't the thing to do.
It wasn't, and it's a shame, because currently I speak more Spanish than I do Japanese, but it's something I definitely want to get into and learn more. Hopefully just to teach my kids that and things of that nature, know where they came from, and just to make them be proud of their heritage and things of that nature.
Speaking of learning, we're going to start with the offensive lineman. Ryan, you're here at Student Athlete, as I ask every guy every week. You've got a lot to study. You've got a lot to balance. Where's your academic road taking you?
Right now I am an exercise science major. And I'm a junior class-wise, so we're getting there, getting through the classes right now, and starting to think about the thesis there and coming up in the next year for the senior year.
And then, of course, when the football is over, there's a little time in the winter to kind of slow down a little bit and readjust.
Yeah, there's a little grace period, but that's about the time you got to start hitting the weights, start getting ready for next year. So.
And how tough is it to balance it?
Oh, it's a tough balance, but our coaches are really good about making sure we're out here getting our work in, and we also have enough time off the field to get our studies in. So it's a tricky balance to maintain, but if you've been here a couple of years, the coaches kind of help you to figure it out.
Academics first, and TJ, you know that as well. There's practices sometimes I won't see one of you here. You might have a lab, and that comes first.
Yeah, academics are always first. That's what we preach when we recruit. We are student athletes first, so it's always big to get in the classroom. Our coaches have no problem with us being late because of class, and it's a wonderful opportunity that our coaches present for us. We get a great education. I mean, I'm getting an econ degree right now, and it's nice to have an econ degree. Even though my first love is football, I do realize that it will end eventually for me. And my goal next year is actually to get into coaching either here or somewhere else. I just want to try to become a college coach. And if that doesn't work, I can always fall back on my econ degree and hopefully get something in the marketing field or something of that nature.
I can't recall at 22 having that good of a plan in my life, but I sure appreciate listening to what you've got to say. For TJ Matsumoto, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for chatting with us. The center of it all, Ryan Springer, the guy in the middle for the offensive line. With these two gentlemen, I'm Mike Gallagher. Thanks for joining us, everyone, here on FullAccessSports.com.